chasing for all the things that please your heart, but I feel like I'm being pushed back while many things seem to fall apart. I am waiting for my breakthrough, and I won't let go till you bless my soul. And I just want to say, in the middle of the storm, I run to you. I reminisce on my before, how you brought me through. I worship you for who you are, not only what you do. In the middle of the storm, I will worship you. I hear the voices of many mockers telling me it's not worth the fight, but I keep watching, keep praying. Many slumbered through the night. I am waiting for the sunrise to wash away the darkness of this world. And I just want to say, in the middle of the storm, I run to you. I reminisce on my before, how you brought me through. I worship you for who you are, not only what you do. In the middle of the storm, I will worship you. I know my future is secured in your hands, even though the fog of life is trying to blind me. But I know the house I'm building is not standing on sand. So I'll go from faith to faith, glory to glory. In the middle of the storm, I run to you. I reminisce on my before, and how you brought me through. I worship you for who you are, not only what you do. In the middle of the storm, I will worship you. Just in the middle of the storm, I run to you. I reminisce on my before, how you brought me through. I worship you for who you are, not only what you do. In the middle of the storm, I will worship you. I will worship on the mountaintop, and I will worship in the valley low, and I will worship when life's unfair, and I will worship when I'm in despair, and I will worship through the hurt and pain, and I will worship through the hurricane, and I will worship in the day and night, and I will worship till we reunite. Even if they hate me and even wanna kill me or put me in the fire, I know that you will save me. But even if you don't, I still won't bow. I won't back down or put my head to the ground. Hallelujah, we give you all the praise. For the rest of my days, I will bless your holy name. Hallelujah, I give you all the praise. For the rest of my days, I will bless your only name, Yahuwah. Yeah, and I will bless your holy name, Yahuwah. Yeah, I will bless your holy name, Yahuwah. Yeah, I will bless your holy name, Yahuwah. Yeah.
Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. Welcome to another uh, debate tonight between our brothers, uh, Elvin Israel, and also brothers Elvin Israel and also Carl Albert. Tonight, they will be discussing or having a debate about is the 70 weeks in Daniel prophecy fulfilled? Is the 70 weeks in Daniel's prophecy, has it been fulfilled? Our brother Carl Albert is taking the no stance or the saying no, and our brother Elvin Israel is saying yes. Um, so it is my understanding that the brother Carl Albert wanted to go first. So I'm going to bring the brothers, both of these brothers in, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. And then without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and get right on into it. Should be a very edifying debate. Want to first give all praises to the Most High. And then also, you guys check out that devoted, our brother devoted to Yah. He's been a debater on this platform, uh, many years back, and has also came in to I think he came in to do a couple teachings. But he's devoted to Yah in the middle of the storm. That was a song that was just played. You brothers and sisters, go check out his channel and show that brother some support because he's a very talented artist. Okay. Um, so now, without further ado, let me just go ahead and bring in Carl Albert. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in the brother Carl Albert. Uh, hey, Carl, how you doing, brother? How you doing?
Peace, peace, peace. You call me Israel, Doctor. Carl Albert, Elder.
Okay, and so we're gonna go ahead and let you. You've been on. You've done through. You ain't. This ain't your first rodeo here on the show. So what we just gonna do? We just gonna go ahead and let you tell them everything. I put all your contact information in the description. But you can go ahead and tell everybody about yourself and then also how to reach out to you.
Well, my name is Carl Albert. I'm better known as Israel Doctrine in these YouTube streets, which is my streets. And a couple years back, I made a ministry, a church. Never really wanted to do it, but the name of the church is the Israel of God, the mixed multitude, you know, the church. So that sums up who the church is. Israel, the people, the mixed multitude, the people, equals the church. Ecclesia. Y'all heard me beat up vocab alone on this channel about the ecclesia of the church. They were and how they had to the church. Israel first, then everybody else after that. To the firstborn goes the spoils. But tonight we're gonna talk about 70 weeks of Daniel. I don't think the brother even realized what he, because he want to focus on the 70 weeks, but I'm going to deal with the end of the 70 weeks, the
Okay.
2,300 days. I don't
All
think
right.
there.
Let, let,
I'm
let's
going
let's 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 save that for the opening round. This ain't the opening. I'm just giving you guys a chance to go ahead and introduce yourself. So we're gonna save that bit until the opening round begins. Are you all done there? Why don't you tell them where they could see you at before I put you in the back and bring the other brother in, brother Elvin.
to Google Israel Doctrine. It's my trademark. Anybody else got it? Flag them.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and put you in the back. And we're gonna bring the brother Elvin Israel in. Hopefully he's ready there. Brother Elvin, how you doing tonight, sir? This is not your first rodeo either. So what we're doing is we just giving you a little bit of a intro. You could tell them how to reach out to you, and then tell them a little bit about yourself as well. For all those who've never seen it before.
Shalom, shalom, brother. This is Elvin Israel, the doctrine killer. In scripture, the thriller Manila, God's Godzilla. You can use all those to describe me. This is Elvin Israel from the Assembly of Sound Doctrine. Uh, where you can you can find me on YouTube at AOSD-Chandler. You can also find me at RPK Resurrection, Prophecy, and Kingdom, where we concentrate on those three tenets. If you have not, please purchase the book. the circumcision and uncircumcision of Genesis chapter 1, mystery of the gardens fulfilled. And you can go to thegarden-ministries.com in order to see what we got coming up in store for you. So I'm ready for the debate. This definitely isn't my first rodeo, but at the pace that we're going, eventually I guess I'm gonna be the debate for you champion, but we will see. But shalom to everyone out there listening, and I hope that this do be an edifying debate. So that's my information.
All right, that's good enough. I'm gonna go ahead and put you in the back, brother. Welcome again. Always good to hear from both of you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and put you in the back, and just a little rundown on the debate format tonight. Tonight we will be running two opening rounds piece. So we're gonna have one opening round for each individual. The opening rounds will be 12 minutes each. After that, we're going to have two rebuttal periods. So each rebuttal period is going to be 8 minutes each. So that's going to be a total of 16 minutes for each brother with their two. After that is going to be the cross examination, which is going to be 15 minutes each. Then we're going to do the closing statements, which is going to be 5 minutes each. Then we're going to have which is one of Sal's favorite part. It's going to be the public Q&A, and that's going to be 30 minutes total. So you guys make sure you guys get all, listen to the both sides of the argument very thoroughly. Write your notes down. If you have any questions, then come on over at the end, and then you will be able to ask each of the brothers a question or both if that would be your desire. Well, anyway, we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. And a quick um, notation on how we're going to do it. Okay, so the opening rounds are going to be 12 minutes each. Okay, and let's see here. Let me go ahead and get my timer out so I can let you guys hear what it's going to be. It's going to be a boxing format. So I'm going to set it for for 12 minutes. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and get my time going on here. Um, there we go. And as soon as you hear, there's going to be 2 minutes after the timer is going to be for 12 minutes. When 2 minutes are remaining, you will hear the gavel hit the podium. So you're going to hear a gavel knocking. That's not going to be the time up. That's just going to be the time to start wrapping it up. And then you're going to have 2 minutes left. And then once the round is over, you will hear the ding ding, the bell ringing. Once the round is over, the bell will ring. Now, if you're caught up in a little bit of the thing, I'm going to try to be lenient and let you guys get your point out instead of just cutting you off right there. But please try to wrap it up once you hear that gavel hit. That means it's 2 minutes left. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and set my timer. And then once you hear the bell ring, Carl Albert, since you're going first, then once you hear that bell ring, or as soon as you start talking, then your time is going to start. Okay. So I'm setting my timer here. Okay. Okay. Everything's all set. Okay. Let me bring Carl back in and let's get this thing going. You guys, get your pens and papers ready. Start taking your notes because it's about to go down. Carl, if you need me to share your screen at all, just let me know. Do you want to share your screen or you just talking on this opening round?
Talking.
Okay, sounds good to me. All right, so as soon as you talk, brother, I'm gonna remove myself. As soon as you start talking, I'm gonna start your time. Okay, as soon as you start
Okay,
talking, I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
start
start.
your time.
Started.
All right.
So, people, number one, we dealing with the 70 weeks of Daniel. Now, when you go into the book of Daniel, Daniel receives a vision because Nebuchadnezzar needed an answer to his dreams. But don't think that Daniel started studying and asking questions and praying and doing all this service to God once God gave him a dream so he can go tell Nebuchadnezzar what happened. No, he's been a servant of God. He's been a Judite for a long time. So I'm going to start at Daniel 7. When you go to Daniel 7:17, these great beasts which are four kingdoms which shall arise out of the earth. Now he already had the dream. He done dealt with Nebuchadnezzar, the image. Now he's dealing with the four beasts. He done dealt with them. It's only four. It's not five. Son of William Bell probably go with five. I don't know about being William. But 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, forever, and forever. So, as we was talking in the pre-debate, he said them RPKs or whatever, they trying to sell the kingdom. They shouldn't have to do that. If they believe that everything is fulfilled, then Jesus should be setting up the kingdom and they should be possessing the kingdom, not doing anything, because you don't have to do nothing. When Jesus come back, he's the captain. You ain't gonna have to do nothing. He gonna step foot on this earth and he's gonna set up the kingdom. So after 7, you go into 8. And then 8, verse 11 said, yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host, and by him daily sacrifices was taken away. In the place of his sanctuary was trodden down. He can't show you that nowhere in history. If his sanctuary was trodden down, because in 70 AD, Jesus was here, the sanctuary was here. And after Jesus died, resurrected, and went to heaven, the sanctuary was taken away. That's why we don't have no sacrifice. So he can't show you this being performed nowhere in history. But when you go to Daniel 9, which most people in 25, 26, and 27 speaks of an antichrist that should take away the daily sacrifice. No, Jesus is the one that took away sacrifice. And when he come back, he's going to deal with those that reinstituted. But Daniel 9 is probably where he's going to stay most of his time, because he believes that the 7th Daniel is just the 6th of Daniel. It's not Bible. And it don't tie in to all the other prophecies. But Daniel 7:25 says, Daniel 12:7 says, Revelations 12:14 said, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall walk the saints of the Most High, and shall to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hands unto times, that's 3.5. So you got times, which is 2.5. Daniel 9:12. Now, and I heard the man clothed, which was up on the water river, when he had held up his right hand and lifted up his left hand unto heaven, and swore by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time and a half a time. Well, that's times, the second. And when it shall accomplish the scattering of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. Right? So we know in 70 AD that the holy people were scattered. That's why even this brother say he's an Israelite over here in America today, because we were scattered. I don't care what William Bell says about the ships and all the books he done wrote and all the stuff he want to do. As you see, they're about merchandise. That's why he wanted you to. They're about merchandise. So Revelations 12:14. And the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she may fly into the wilderness in her place, where she shall be nourished for a time and a half a time. And from the face of the serpent, he can't show you Israel going to the wilderness, because number one, it should have been before him, so he should have a historical marker, but he don't have now. So he has to look for that time and a half to take place. But if the 70 weeks of Daniel was fulfilled, then Jesus should be back and he should be setting up his kingdom, and he don't need his peasant servants to set it up. He's the captain. He put in the work. So I don't really need no more time. That's my foundation right there. That's what I'm going to build my whole debate off of. He cannot deal with that. So you can say whatever you want to say about the first beginning another 70 weeks, but if you can't get the ending of the 70 weeks down, because he says fulfilled. So if it's fulfilled, he should have historical documentation of the fulfillment. I doubt if he got that, but my time's up. You can ring the bell. Bing, 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 bing.
Okay. Strong opening round for the brother Israel Doctrine. Strong opening round. A lot of information to think about. And now we're going to go ahead and bring the brother Elvin Israel back in. Okay. There he is. Okay, brother Elvin, we're going to go ahead and reset your time. Once you hear the bell start going, or I'm sorry, once you start talking, then I will start your time. I'm going to remove myself from the platform.
Hello, my brother.
Yep.
Yeah, I would like to share my screen.
Okay, let me just go ahead and get. Oh, you already got it up there. So let me add it. There you go. Can you see it up there?
Hold on, let me see. Yes, sir. I see it.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove myself. Once I remove myself and you begin talking, I'm gonna start your time. I'm out of here. Go ahead, brother.
All righty. So the debate is the 70 weeks of Daniel fulfilled? And of course, I'm going to be using Daniel chapter 9. But before that, I want to go to the events that led up to Daniel chapter 9. So Jeremiah 25:9 first. Behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, said the Lord, and Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and will bring them against this land and against the inhabitants thereof, and against all these nations round about, and will utterly destroy them and make them an astonishment and a hissing and a perpetual desolation. Verse 10, moreover, I would take from them the voice of mirth, the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride, the sound of the millstones, and the light of the candle. Verse 11, and this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment. And these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. Verse 12. And it shall come to pass when 70 years are accomplished that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, said the Lord, for their iniquity, and the land of the Chaldeans, and the land of the Chaldeans, and will make it a perpetual desolation. Now, let's see what led up to that. Second Chronicles 36:19 and 21. And they burnt the house of God and break down the wall of Jerusalem and burnt all the palaces thereof with fire and destroyed all the goodly vessels thereof, to fulfill the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed her Sabbaths. For as long as she lay desolate, she kept Sabbath to fulfill 70 years. So that's Jeremiah 70 years explained. But let's go on a little more. Jeremiah 34:13. Thus said the Lord God, the God of Israel, I made a covenant with your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Brother Elvin, I'm sorry, man. I paused your time. I don't know if you wanted us to see the first slide you got going, but we don't see what you're reading. If I
Uh,
don't, yeah, I don't know if you
hold on.
meant to change it or.
Yeah, I did. It's not changing.
I see it now. Jeremiah 34:13.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to do it like this. My bad. I had it whole
Okay.
screen. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
I got it.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. And then I'll restart your time. Give you about 10 more seconds, and then I'll start it right when you start talking again. I'm out of here.
Okay, then. Thank you. Jeremiah 34:13. Thus said the Lord, the God of Israel, I made a covenant with your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondmen, saying, of verse 14, at the end of 7 years, let ye go every man his brother and Hebrew, which hath been sold unto thee. And when he had served thee 6 years, thou shalt let him go free from thee. But your fathers hearken not unto me, neither incline their ears. Verse 15, and ye were now turned and had done right in my sight in proclaiming liberty, every man to his neighbor, and ye had made a covenant with me in the house which is called by my name. Verse 17. Therefore, thus said the Lord, ye have not hearkened unto me in proclaiming liberty, everyone to his brother, and every man to his neighbor. Behold, I proclaim a liberty for you, said the Lord, to the sword, to the pestilence, and to the famine, and I will make you to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth, into all the kingdoms of the earth. So now we see the problem was that the Hebrews, they did not do the Jubilee year correctly. And since they did not do the Jubilee year correctly, letting the land get its Sabbaths, they had to be um they had to be punished for that. They had to go through a curse for that. And let's show you why. The year of Jubilees, Leviticus 25:8. And thou shalt reckon to thyself 7 Sabbaths of years, 7 times 7 years. And they shall be to thee 7 weeks of years, 9 and 49 years. Leviticus 26:14. But if you will not hearken unto me, nor obey these my ordinances, I will, verse 25, and I will bring upon you a sword of vengeance, the cause of my covenant, and ye shall flee for refuge to your cities. And I will send out death against you, and ye shall be delivered into the hands of your enemies. Leviticus 26:33-35. And I will scatter you among the nations, and the sword shall come upon you and consume you, and your land shall be desolate and your city shall be desolate. Then the land shall enjoy its Sabbaths all the days of its desolation, and ye shall be in the land of your enemies. Then the land shall keep its Sabbaths, and the land shall enjoy its Sabbaths all the days of its desolation. It shall keep Sabbaths which it kept, not among your Sabbaths when you dwelt in it. So, in other words, Moses already stated that if they did not do the Jubilee correctly, then they would have to go into captivity so the land could enjoy its Jubilees like was established. This is what happened during the time of Jeremiah. This is why this is why they went into the captivity under Nebuchadnezzar. We're going to show you why that's important in a minute. So look at the calculations right here. This is the math dealing with Jeremiah. 70 years of accounted for Sabbaths divided by 7 years of cycle Sabbath equals 10 sabbatical Jubilee years. So Israel missed 10 sabbatical Jubilee years. Now, once you go 10 sabbatical years of Jubilees, time 49 years, because the 49 years is the Jubilee, you come up with 490 years. Israel missed 490 years worth of Sabbath, so they had to go into captivity those 70 years. Now, why is that important? Let's go to Daniel now. Jeremiah 29:10. For thus said the Lord, that after 70 years is accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you and causing you to return to this place. Daniel 9:2. I, Daniel, understood by books the number of the years which was the word of the Lord to the prophet Jeremiah, even 70 years, for the accomplishment of the desolation of Jerusalem. Daniel 9:24. 70 weeks have been determined upon you, upon thy people, upon the holy city, for sin to be ended, to seal up transgressions, to blot out iniquities, to make atonement for iniquities, to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal the vision and the prophet, and to anoint the most holy. 70 weeks, according to the English translators. This is the word right here in the Hebrew. You see it right here? 2, heptad. It means 7 of years. So in other words, it's 77 of years. This he had determined upon Jerusalem. So now, once you look at this math right here, 70 times 7 years equals 490 years. 490 years divided by the 49 years of the one set of Jubilees equals 10 Jubilees. Daniel's prophecy dealt with 10 Jubilees, just like Jeremiah's prophecy dealt with 10 Jubilees. These are 10 Jubilees spoken of. So now let's see what the Dead Sea Scroll community said about this Jubilee set that Daniel spoke of. This is 11Q13, the coming of Melchizedek. And concerning what scripture says, in the year of Jubilee, you shall return every one of you to your property. And what is also written, and this is the manner of the remission. Every creditor shall remit the claim that is held against a neighbor, not exacting of it a neighbor who is a member of the community, because God's remission has been proclaimed. The interpretation is that it applies. Look at the interpretation. It applies to the last days and concern the captives, just as Isaiah said to proclaim the Jubilee to the captives, just as text missing and from the inheritance of Melchizedek. For Melchizedek, who will return to them, is rightfully theirs. He will proclaim, who? Melchizedek. He will proclaim to them the Jubilee, thereby releasing them from the debt of all their sins. He shall proclaim this decree in the first week of the Jubilee period that follow 9 Jubilees. So according to the Dead Sea Scroll community, they understood by reading Daniel that Melchizedek was going to come in the 10th Jubilee period, in the first week of it, declaiming the Jubilee release. And then look at what else they say. Then the Day of Atonement shall follow after the 10th Jubilee period. That's what my brother said. He's worried about the end of the 10th Jubilee period. So here, then the Day of Atonement shall follow after the 10th Jubilee period, when he shall atone for all the sons of light and the people who are predestined to Melchizedek upon them, for this is the time decreed for the year of Melchizedek's favor. And by his might, he would judge God's holy ones and establish a righteous kingdom. So if I'm saying all things have been fulfilled in Daniel's 70 week, as well as the Bible, should we be able to go into the Bible and see when this proclamation of this Jubilee was made and when this proclamation of this atonement was going to be made, was created? So let's go here. Luke 4, verse 16. He came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up to read. And he was handed the book of the prophet Isaiah. And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives and the recovery of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord." Verse 21. Today, this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing. So according to the Dead Sea Scroll community, who knew the prophecy of Daniel, this was going to occur at the beginning, the first week of the 10th Jubilee. So let's see what happens at what follows the 10th Jubilee. You remember it says atonement? Matthew 23, verse 33. Serpents, brood of vipers, how can you escape the condemnation of hell? Therefore, indeed, I send you prophets, wise men, and scribes. Some of them you will kill and crucify, and some of them you will scourge in your synagogues and persecute them from city to city, that upon you may come all the righteous blood shed on the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the temple and the altar. 36. Assuredly, I say to you, all these things will come upon this generation. So according to how Jubilees work out, the 10 Jubilees in Daniel, it worked out just like the 10 Jubilees in Jeremiah. 10 Jubilees, then a judgment. Daniel, 10 Jubilees, then a judgment. Christ let us know when that was going to occur. His generation, he proclaimed liberty, the beginning of the 10th week, and he told them that they would be destroyed for their atonement at the end of that 10th Jubilee, which was the Day of Atonement when Jerusalem was destroyed by the Roman army. All things in Daniel has been fulfilled, and I will show you in history my second go around. Thank you, brother.
All right, all right. Another powerful opening round. Both brothers is doing a pretty good job, man. It's a lot of information we're gonna have to mull over tonight. So let me go ahead and remove the brother Elvin, and then we're gonna bring back up the brother Carl, and we're gonna start our rebuttal period. Once again, these rebuttals there's going to be 2 apiece for each brother, so it's going to be a total of 4 rebuttals, 2 apiece. Each of them will be 8 minutes each. Each one will be 8 minutes each. Let me go ahead and set my timer to 8 minutes. And then, boom, let me bring back the brother Carl, Israel Doctrine in. I'm going to come on and bring you in. And it looks like you have your screen. You want to share it right now?
No, I need some understanding. Are we going to do 2 like you said, or are we going to do 1 in rebuttal and then do 1 in rebuttal?
Yeah, so you're going to get, so this is going to be a rebuttal to what he just said, right? And then after that, he's going to do a rebuttal. And then we're going to bring you back in for 1 more rebuttal. So both of you guys going to get 2 rebuttals. Okay. So that's a total of 4 rebuttals between the both of you. All right.
I'm ready whenever you're ready.
All right. You want me to share your screen, right, bro?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. All right. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to remove myself. Once I do, you just start talking and then we will start you out. I'm removing myself. Go ahead and start.
Okay, I'm going to use my time. I'm not going to give it up like I gave it up when I laid my foundation on what I'm presenting and how I'm going to win the debate, because he can't mess with it. He just laid down his premise, and it seemed like it's a very faulty premise, because his mind is thinking the 70 weeks, I'm going to show you how this 70 weeks, and I'm going to do all of this, and I'm going to get spectacular, but it comes down, you have to show the fulfillment. So you should deal with the end of the 70 weeks and show how it was fulfilled, because you believe, he believed all things are fulfilled. So if he can't show you how it was all fulfilled, who cares about what Jeremiah said or this one said or whatever? He's supposed to show you the 70 weeks totally fulfilled, because all things are fulfilled based upon his full preterism. See, his terminology kills him. I'm a partial preterist. So, like I told him in the pre-debate, he want to call me a futurist. Well, that's indoctrination, because Papa William had to tell him what a futurist was and say, you see a guy over there, you see that guy? He's a futurist. Because God ain't called nobody a futurist. Now, one of the prophets of Israel called anybody a futurist. So, happy that William Bell, a non-believer in the fact that he's an Israelite, told this Israelite, this silly Hebrew Israelite, this story about futurists. Let me tell you a story about these futurists. They said stuff gonna happen in the future, but all things are fulfilled, my son. See, that's why I told him, stop calling me names and stop picking at me, because I'm gonna call you a false prophet. Him sitting up there with his head wrapped and stuff, disrespecting his Lord. He said the Lord God of Israel is his Lord or his God, but sound like Papa is his man, or William his man. I don't know who his God is. Any man that sits up and deal with the word of God with his head disrespects pastor. And you see me, I'm bald. You might say, well, you disrespect me because you cut your hair. However you want to say it. But look, I don't have no more rebuttal because he's not talking about nothing worthy. How you gonna rebuttal the beginning? I took you straight to the end, and I'm gonna show you the end hasn't been fulfilled. Let him stay up there in the beginning. He's gonna have to do some catching up, and by the time he get there, his PowerPoint ain't gonna help him because he's dealing with the beginning of things and not the end. If we was dealing with the chronology, chronology starts right now, going backwards, not going backwards, coming forward. No, that's not chronology. So chronologically, he's already F. But I'm done before I forget to say it the wrong thing.
Okay, so that was it, Carl. You got 4 minutes left. That's it. All right. Let me go ahead and remove the brother. And I'm gonna bring the brother Elvin back up again. Let's see here. Okay. Brother Elvin, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay. And then you got another you wanted me to share your screen again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead and put it up and then I'll put it on for you.
Let's see here.
And just to shout out to some people while he's getting it together. Shout out to SF Wisdom. By the way, that's the flyer guy. He makes great flyers. You guys go check him out. The brother's information is in the description box. Thank you very much. Brother Thomas Downard. Also, Who Will Be Saved? All Things Petty. Executive Sessions 420. Welcome everybody, and the brother's ready. So let me go ahead and put him back up on the screen here. All right, and man, this is a pretty good debate here. It's gonna be a lot of questions coming out, I know, in that round, man. So we're gonna get it going. All right, so he's ready. He's ready. I'm gonna remove myself, brother Elvin. As soon as you start talking, I will start your time.
Thank you, my brother. And like, what a waste of a round. Talking about hair gear and head wrap, not even knowing what spiritual aspect is actually being discussed. But now, let's talk about history, because I like history too. I'm gonna go to a historian. I'm gonna go to Josephus, The Antiquity of the Jews, Book 10, Section 11. Book 10, Chapter 11, Section 7. So we can see right here. Let me start right here. He also related that when he stood up, he was shown a great rain and many horns growing out of his head, and the last was higher than the rest. There, after this, he looked to the west, and he saw a he-goat carried through the air from the quarter that rushed upon the ram with violence and smote him twice with his horns and overthrew him to the ground and trampled upon him. So if anyone don't understand what's going on, this is the famous Daniel chapter 8, what people says that they want to see fulfilled because they don't understand what's going on. So let's continue reading Josephus' explanation of Daniel's chapter 8. I'm gonna slide down a little bit. Daniel wrote that he saw these visions upon the plain of Susa, that he had informed us as God interpreted the appearance of this vision after the following manner. He said that the ram signified the kingdoms of the Mede and Persians, and the horns, those kings that were to reign in them. And the last horn signified the last king, that he should exceed all the kings in riches and glory. And the he-goat signified that one should come and reign from the Greeks, who should twice fight with the Persians and overcome him in battle, and should receive his entire dominion. That by the great horn which sprang up out of the forehead of the he-goat was meant the first king, and that the springing up of the four horns upon his falling off, and the conversion of every one of them to the four quarters of the earth. Let's see, I got time. And they come, let's see here. Let's skip down a little bit. The partition of the kingdom among them, that they should be neither his children nor of his kindred, that should reign over the habitable earth for many years, and that from among them there should arise a certain king that should overcome our nation and their laws, and should take away their political government, and should spoil the temple and forbid the sacrifices to be offered for 3 years. And indeed, it so came to pass that our nation suffered these things under Antiochus Epiphanes, according to Daniel's vision, and what he wrote many years before they came to pass. Now, let's concentrate on what Josephus makes next. His next statement. You know, Josephus, the priest who lived in the first century, who understood prophecies. Let's see what he stated. Since there's no historical documentation that proves these things has been fulfilled, let's see here. In the very same manner, Daniel also wrote concerning the Roman government, and that our country should be made desolate by them. All these things did this man leave in writing, as God has showed them to him, insomuch that such as read his prophecies and see how they have been fulfilled. And see how they have been fulfilled. So according to Josephus, when a person is reading Daniel's prophecy, no matter what time period outside of the first century, they're reading it and seeing how they have been fulfilled. So according to Josephus, Josephus wasn't a preterist. He wasn't a full preterist at all. Now, would his understanding be that of a full preterist? Yes, because Josephus said all of Daniel's prophecy was fulfilled in his time period, and I'm saying all Daniel's prophecy was fulfilled in the time period of Josephus, and all the four preterists says all of Daniel's prophecy was fulfilled in the time of Josephus. You see how we and the Jew are on the same path, but the Americans say something different? So now let's keep going. Who would wonder how these were upon how God under Daniel, right? So now, let's see here. I also have an insert right here. Let's see if I can find it. Eusebius, ecclesiastical, sorry, my bad. So this is chapter 5. I'm going to start at verse 4 that he wrote up. Okay, I got 2 minutes or so. But the number of calamities which everywhere fell upon that nation, the extreme misfortunes to the inhabitants of Judea, were especially subjected, the thousands of men as well as women and children that perished by the sword, by famine, and by other forms of death innumerable. All these things, as well as many great sieges which were carried on against the cities of Judea, and the excessive sufferings endured by those that fled to Jerusalem itself as to a city of perfect safety. And finally, the general course of the whole war, as well as its particular occurrences in detail, and how at last the abomination of desolation proclaimed by the prophets stood in the very temple of God. So celebrated of old, the temple which is now awaiting total and final destruction by fire. All these things anyone that wishes may find accurately described in the history written by Josephus. So according to Eusebius, a 3rd century church historian, he also said the things of Daniel happened during the time of the siege of Jerusalem when Josephus was living. And I can go on. I only have a minute and stuff, so I don't want to waste my time in that. So let me make one quote for you, and then if my brother wants some more historical references, we already see that Christ, according to the prophecy, Christ was going to come at the beginning of the 10th Jubilee, and the destruction of Jerusalem was going to happen for atonement at that 10th Jubilee, the ending of that 10th Jubilee. So this is what the Messiah said, and then hopefully I have enough time to read it. Luke 21, verses 20 through 22. This is what it states. And when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. That's that desolation word again. Then let those which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. So I agree with the Jews. I agree with the Messiah that all things was fulfilled in the time of the first generation when Jerusalem was destroyed by the Roman army, as everyone is saying except my brother and most American futurists.
All right, all right. Another strong round for both brothers. It's a lot of information going out, y'all. Hope y'all taking y'all information down so that you'll be ready to ask the brothers questions as soon as the question and answer time comes up. Once again, we have 2 more rebuttal periods coming up, 8 rounds apiece. Carl will get an 8-minute rebuttal round. Also, the brother Elvin will also get a 8-minute rebuttal round. I just want to take a little bit time and then just recognize some more of these people in the chat for joining us. Thank you. Digital Pit Boss, welcome. Thanks for joining. Dollar Skills, thanks for joining. Nerg Live, thanks for joining. G Deb, thanks for joining. And it looks like we're Vanilla Gorilla, thanks for joining. And looks like okay, we got everybody so far. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring the brother Carl back in. There he is. And so you do have 8 more minutes, brother Carl. 8 more minutes for yourself. Yeah, go ahead.
Was he rebutting me? Yes or no? I just need to know, because what we doing now? I'm starting back my conversation, or I'm rebutting what he said, because he just threw some stuff up there. He never rebutted me.
Yeah, rebutting what he said. Just go ahead and
hold up. I put down my premise. He put down his premise. I rebutted his premise. He didn't rebut my premise. Now I got to rebut what he just said.
Or just put some more information out. Go.
I'm gonna start on my second go, not rebutting. Then he gonna say something, and I'm gonna rebut what he say, and he has to rebut what I say. Oh, you off topic. It's cool, but that's okay. The way you said it was gonna go.
Yeah, you got it. Just present the information, and the people will decide. Everybody will see if it's wrong.
I just want to make sure that we're traveling down the right road, because he just took a detour and said, to hell with traveling down the straight and narrow. I'm gonna go where I want to go.
Okay, yeah, just put the information out. We all taking notes, so I'm pretty sure in the question and answer.
Whenever you start that clock, bro.
You ready? All right, I'm about to remove myself, and then you go ahead.
Hey, show my screen too.
Okay, there you go. Okay, let me know if you can see it first before I remove myself.
I can see it up.
You got it? Okay, cool. All right, I'm out.
See it over there.
I'm out. When you start talking, I'll start it.
Okay. The Israel of God, the mixed multitudes of church. Today's lesson, the 2300 days. Now I'm going to go to the book of Daniel, and I'm going to start my second conversation, not rebuttal, because I didn't get no rebuttal, and I'm not finna rebuttal his poo-poo. He's wearing a scarf over his head, and he's putting boo-boo on the table, and I won't rebuttal that. But Daniel 8 and starting at 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after the which appeared unto me at the first. And I saw in the vision, and it came to pass when I saw that I was at Shushan, in the place which is in the province of Elim. And I saw in the vision, and I was by the river Ulai. Then I lifted up my eyes, and I saw, and behold, there stood by the river a ram, which had 2 horns. This is the same thing he just read Josephus, but he ain't reading the Bible. To hell with the Bible. Read you another lion, and I'm gonna agree with the lion prophet, and I'm gonna make y'all agree with the lion prophet. But let's keep going. I saw a ram passing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him. Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will and became great. Now I'm going to skip down some to 7. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with whatever that is against him, and smote the ram, and broke his 2 horns. That's Mede and Persia, because after Nebuchadnezzar, the lion became the Medes and the Persian, right? And then, here you go. Y'all done did history. It's saying broke the 2 horns, and there was power in the ram that it stood before him, and he cast him down to the ground and stomped upon him. And there was none that could deliver the ram out of this man's hand, the Greeks' hand, because it's 4 dynasties. I don't know how William Bell teaching them that it's 5 dynasties, but it's 4. Maybe he can show us. Therefore, the he-goat waxed great and was strong. Then a great horn was broken, for it came up from the notable one towards the 4 winds of heaven. And out of them came forth a little horn. That's a king, a kingdom, power, principality. A little horn. Well, I meant, which waxed towards the south and towards the east and towards the pleasant land. And it waxed great even unto the host of heaven. So did the Greeks wax gross to the host of heaven? You would at least say the Romans killed Jesus. The Greeks didn't kill Jesus. Jesus wasn't even here during the Greek Empire. But let's keep going. The Greco-Roman Empire, but still Roman Empire. And it waxed great. And so we're going to go down to 10. And he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. And by him daily sacrifices was taken away. And the place of his sanctuary was cast down. Read Josephus showing you this sanctuary and it being cast down. Because there's only been 2 sanctuaries that I know about so far. And hopefully it'll come. It's only been 2 sanctuaries. Show me the first or the second one being this little horn that waxed great sanctuary. You can't do it because you's a lion, and I would like to say it, but I'm on debate talk for you. You a lion, a prophet. You worry about my head covered up and stuff. You disrespecting the Lord God of Israel by even speaking his name with your head wrapped all up. You a clown. Once I seen you post that first video, I said, I effed up. I shouldn't have gave this clown no leeway. Because you don't even know how to rebuttal.
Hey, Carl, I put your clock on time on pause. Let's try not to refrain from the clowns and all of that from the ad homs.
Well, he's still calling me a futurist. How's an ad hom when I call him something outside of what he literally is?
Well, I know you might think that. Okay, thanks, bro.
But I will
Thank
need
you.
you to do the same for him.
Thank you, brother. All right.
I will need you to do the same for him. Call
Will
me
do.
this again.
I'll do it for you. All right.
So now, I just read what he read, but he's saying Josephus said, "Hey, it was fulfilled." So one liar agree with another liar, make a truth. 2 lies make the truth. Nah, people, don't let it be so. Don't let it be so. So let me put this PowerPoint back up again. Let's start laying down my premise. So the total days of the vision. Oh, it's a vision right here in Daniel 8. What them 2,300 days said. Then I heard one saint, 13. Then I heard one saint speak to another saint, saying unto the certain saint which spoke, how long shall the vision concerning the daily sacrifices and the transgression of desolations to give both the sanctuary and the host trodden underfoot? And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days. Then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. So you see the time of the vision. You see this blessing. You like, how you come up with that number? Because I just subtracted that 3, 13, 35, right? Daily sacrifice transgressions. So today's vision, Daniel 8, once again, the great tribulations, Daniel 12, Revelations, then the great tribulation, the cleaning time. That's what you get 30 from. So all of that adds up to what? Daniel 12. So then we get down here. Boom, it's a fleeing period. When did somebody flee? Read Josephus. Can you see that? You ain't showing my screen. Not bad. So let me go back up in the presentation so y'all can see these things. At least it'll be on the screen when you come back and study these things. So 2,300 days. He got to show you that in history. A 2,300 day time period where sacrifices and oblations and all of this stop. In the sanctuary, not the Lord God of Israel sanctuary, the first one Solomon made and then they refurbished, he got to show you another sanctuary, and it's only been 2. He can't do that. Debate over with. Say what you want to say in the side chat looking like buffoons. Talk about me all you want. That's what the wicked do. So all you wicked people that trying to judge me, you do a debate or call me out on one. I'm done.
Okay. That was some good information right there. And we're going to move on into our final rebuttal round from Brother Elvin Israel. It's going to be 8 minutes. Let me go ahead and put Carl in the back and then bring on Brother Elvin. Okay, Elvin, here we go. Are you ready? Let
Yes,
me
sir.
share your screen right here.
Well, no,
You
no,
sharing your...
I don't need screen sharing now.
Okay.
Now I just want to talk to the brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then off we go. I'm going to remove myself. And then once again, it's going to start as soon as you start talking.
All right. Yes, sir. And I definitely did a rebuttal round. The brother asked me to show him in history. Then I go to 2 historical sources, not 1, but 2. And then he say, "You're not rebuttaling. You're not saying what I'm asking." Meanwhile, you asked me to show you in history where someone said these things were fulfilled, which I did. Okay, so that one is out the way. So going back to Daniel 9, because that's what we're talking about, right? Daniel 9, the 70 weeks, have they been fulfilled, right? So once you go to verse number 26, and after 62 weeks, the anointed one shall be destroyed, and there is no judgment in him. And he shall destroy the city and the sanctuary with the prince that is coming. So Daniel definitely said the city and the sanctuary was going to be destroyed. And let's keep reading. That they should be cut off with a flood to the end of the war, which is rapidly completed. He shall appoint the city to desolations. So we clearly see what's revolving around Daniel's 70 weeks is a war. That's what it's about. Jeremiah, 490 years, it was about them violating the Jubilee, and then judgment came by Nebuchadnezzar's army. Now, Daniel gets another 490-year prophecy, 10 Jubilees, right? 70 weeks of 70 times 7 years, those cycles. And then guess what happened? Just like in Jeremiah, it was going to be a army to come in to destroy Jerusalem. So now, all we got to do is find out what the army was about. If I see in verse 26, it brings up the Messiah being cut off, then I just go to the days of the Messiah and let's see if it works. So I'm going to go to the days of the Messiah. Luke 21. This is the days of the Messiah. This is what Christ say. Let's see if we can find the sanctuary and the people being destroyed. Let's see if we can find it in the days of the Messiah. Luke 21:5. And as some spake of the temple, sanctuary, how it was adorned with goodly stones and gifts, he said, as for these things which ye behold, the days will come in which there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Christ is talking about the temple being destroyed, the sanctuary being destroyed. Let's see if Christ says anything about the people being destroyed. Luke 21:24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And I know people want that to be thousands of years. But let's see what time period Christ put this in. Because this is dealing with Daniel's 70 weeks. So this is all within the 70 weeks. So let's see the time period Christ put this in. Luke 21, verse 32. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all be fulfilled. So Christ put the same thing that Daniel said in his generation. But let's see if Christ put all of what Daniel said. Let's see if we can find Daniel 7. Let's see if we can find elements of Daniel 8, Daniel 9, Daniel 11, Daniel 12. Let's see if we can find that within what Christ is talking about. Luke 21, verse 20. And when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know the desolation thereof is nigh. Understand, land desolation occurred because of Jubilee, the Jubilee judgment. Jubilee judgment equates to land desolation. Okay, so verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains. My brother just asked, what about them fleeing? Where do they flee at? Right here, he's telling them to flee to the mountains and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein too. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. That's Daniel 7. It was written. Daniel 8 that he's trying to throw in there, it was written. Daniel 9 was written. Daniel 11 was written. Daniel 12 was written. Isaiah 2 was written. And Ezekiel 40 through 48 was written. So all of the things that people try to make futuristic, according to Christ, all things written would be fulfilled at that time. All things. So let's look. Let's see if I got a little time. Let's look more of this days of vengeance, right? That all things was going to be written, be fulfilled. Let's Deuteronomy 32. Let's look a little bit more of the days of vengeance. Verse 36. Well, let's see if I can start up a little bit more so we can see that this is vengeance. Let's see here. Oh, my bad. Let's go to the Brenton. Let's go into the Septuagint. Deuteronomy 32, verse number. Say, I would take vengeance on my people. And sorry for wasting this time, y'all. Right here, 32 and 20. And said, I would turn my face to them, and I would show what would happen to them in the last days, for they are a perverse generation. Verse number 35. In the day of vengeance, I will recompense whensoever their foot shall be tripped up, for the day of their destruction is near to them, and the judgments at hand are close upon them. Verse 36. For the Lord shall judge his people and shall be comforted over his servants. For he saw that they were utterly weakened and failed in the hostile invasion. So, according to Deuteronomy 32, the last days, it was going to be a judgment, a day of vengeance from the Lord. He was going to judge his people. Was his people judged in 70 AD? Of course they was. It said that they was going to be failed in the hostile invasion. Was there a hostile invasion in 70 AD? Of course it was. Verse 41, I will sharpen my sword like lightning, and my hand shall take hold of judgment. I will render judgment to my enemies and will recompense those that hate me. What did the Jews say? Let his blood be upon us and our children. Do it seem like they love the Father in that instance? Let's go to verse 43. Rejoice, ye heavens, with him, and let all the angels of God worship him. Rejoice, ye Gentiles, with his people, and let all the sons of God strengthen themselves in him. For he will avenge the blood of his sons. Let me finish. And he will render vengeance and recompense justice to his enemies, and will reward them that hate him. The Lord shall purge the land of his people. Happened 70 AD. That's Daniel 70 weeks fulfilled. Thank you, my brother.
All right, all right. Another strong round for Brother Elvin. Man, this is a good debate, you guys. It's a good debate. Everybody's all in there. And now here comes my favorite portion of the debate, which is the cross-examination. Yeah, go ahead, Carl.
Ain't I supposed to rebut that, and he's supposed to rebut what I said? That's
No,
not
y'all
what you said.
y'all got 2 rebuttals already. You had the first
We
2.
had one rebuttal. I rebutted one time. I
You
did my presentation. I rebutted. Then I did my presentation. I ain't got nothing to rebuttal now. I just did a presentation. What did I rebuttal?
Well,
No one told you to do 2 presentations.
Wait, hold on, Brother Elvin. Hold on one
Evan,
second.
look,
Hold on one
a
second, you
little
guys.
nappy head up, because
Okay,
I
hold
know
on.
that's why you covering it.
Let me put both you guys in the back. Hold on. Um, yeah, Carl. So you had the first rebuttal, and then Elvin went. He had a rebuttal. Then you had the second rebuttal, and that's the one where you said you wasn't gonna rebuttal nothing because he wasn't rebuttaling nothing, right? And then he came back and he just did his last rebuttal. So that was the 2 rebuttal periods for both of you guys. So I mean, it was a total of 4. You know, it might not have went the way that it was planned to go, or we thought it was going to go, but that was definitely 2 rebuttal periods. But now we move on into the cross examination part. Um, so we're going to just have questions. So Carl, you're going to go first, and you're going to start asking Brother Elvin questions for 15 minutes, and then if it's a yes or no, you're going to get 1 minute to ask the questions. He's going to get 2 minutes to answer the question. Okay, and then if it's a yes or no question, you guys both please answer yes or no first and then go into your answer. But you will definitely get 2 minutes. So once you ask the question, just allow the 2 minutes to either run out or they stop answering questions. I mean, until they give up their time, but it's 2 minutes. So please don't you guys don't over talk each other and then just let them get the answers all the way out. Okay, so I'm gonna bring both of you brothers back in. Um, let me see. Okay, so I'm gonna bring both of you brothers back in. It's gonna be 15 minutes. Carl is gonna start asking his questions first, and Brother Elvin, no questions. You're only answering. And then once again, like we asked, if he asks a yes or no question, please answer yes or no first, and then go into your answer. You will have 2 minutes to answer, 1 minute to ask the question. We're going to go for a total of 15 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to remove myself. I'm only going to intervene if it starts getting out of hand, you know, and then I'm gonna try to stay out of the way for the most part because I know it gets a little passionate. So I'm try to let it go as long as I can. But if it starts getting out of hand, then I'm gonna have to step on in. But let me go ahead and set this timer. Uh, let me go ahead and set this timer. Boom. Okay. And then once again, when 2 minutes is remaining, you'll hear the gavel, and then the ding will go off. And if you're in the middle of answering a question, I'm gonna try to let you finish answering. You know, uh, so I'm gonna try to be lenient on the time. But yeah, you brothers go ahead. I'm gonna remove myself now.
Daniel 9 and 27, and he shall confirm the covenant for many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he should die. So when did he come back and fulfill the week? Because he did 3.5. So he got 3.5 more to fulfill. So when did he read it?
Daniel 9:27. That's the last week. That's week 70. That's the same week that Christ was cut off.
So he fulfilled the covenant.
Christ is the covenant.
Did he fulfill the covenant though?
Yeah, he is the covenant. Christ is the covenant. According to Isaiah, Christ
Yes or
is.
no, please. I ain't asked you what Christ was.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Now, in Matthew 24, he talks about the destruction of the temple. You saying that's the fulfillment of the prophecy in Daniel 9:27?
Yes,
The
sir.
little horn destroyed that temple.
Yes, sir.
So was that his sanctuary? He went and destroyed his own sanctuary, or was that built by Christ, the Messiah, as his troubling times?
The little horn that destroyed the temple, that would represent the children of Israel. So the children of Israel is the ones that destroyed the temple and the sanctuary.
So they destroyed Jerusalem in 70 AD. The children of Israel did. Or they got destroyed and thrown out of it. They destroyed it and stayed in it.
Yeah, the children of Israel destroyed their own temple.
Man, I ain't even got no more. I don't know what to ask this dude. He all over the place, man.
Okay, I would like to finish answering it. Once I go into the War of the Jews, book 4, chapter 6, section 3. I want to start at 386. It says, "These men therefore trampled upon the laws of man and laughed at the laws of God. And for the oracles of the prophets, they ridiculed them as tricks of jugglers. Yet did these prophets foretell many things concerning the rewards of virtue and punishment of vice, which when these zealots violated, they occasioned the fulfilling of these very prophecies belonging to their own country. For there was a certain oracle of those men that the city should then be taken and the sanctuary burnt by right of war, when the sedition should invade the Jews, and their own hands should pollute the temple of God." Now, while these zealots did not quite disbelieve these predictions, they made themselves the instruments of their accomplishment. So according to Josephus, it was the Jews.
Yo, go.
Okay. So you giving up the time, Carl? You got about 12 more minutes left.
To ask questions, I don't know what that. I don't know what to ask a liar. They just gonna tell a lie, so I don't need to ask a liar nothing.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and switch the positions. So the brother Elvin Israel, it's about your turn now. You'll have 15 minutes. If he now again, Carl, you just heard me tell him, but I have to tell you.
I know the
But
rules. I just put the rules in the back. I know the rules. I read the rules.
okay, let me just say them just so everybody else can be clear too. So if he asks you a yes or no question, just answer yes or no first, and then you'll have 2 minutes to get the rest of your answer out if you need that much time.
Sound like
But you
my
probably
rules.
don't. You probably don't.
I like those rules. I
You
like
straight to
those.
the point. And then
Yeah,
yeah,
point.
you have 1 minute to ask the questions, brother Elvin, and then I'm gonna remove myself, and I'll only intervene if it starts getting out of hand, and if you're not allowing them to answer the questions. All right, so I'm gonna remove myself. As soon as you start asking, I'm gonna start the time.
All righty, yes, sir. Daniel 9:26. "And after the 62 weeks, the anointed one shall be destroyed, and there is no judgment in him. and he shall destroy the city and the sanctuary with the prince that is coming. Can you tell me where that prophecy is in the New Testament?
No, I don't even know I don't know what you just read. Daniel 9:20 what?
Daniel 9:26.
Where he destroyed the temple. Who destroyed the temple? The Antichrist?
It says, and he shall destroy the city and the sanctuary with the prince that is coming. Can you tell me where that prophecy is in the New Testament?
No.
Okay, then thank you. It says that they shall be cut off with a flood until the end of the war, which is rapidly completed. He shall appoint the city to desolations. Can you tell me where that prophecy is in the New Testament?
Did nobody appoint the city to desolation? Jesus said it will be destroyed. So the Romans invaded Jerusalem in 70 AD. I don't see where Israel just uproared and started tearing up their own temple in the Bible. Now, Josephus might wrote a lie that you agree with, but it's not in the Bible. And I agree with everything in the Bible. To hell with Josephus.
Okay, so can you give me the book, chapter, and verse where the prophecy of the city being cut off with the flood to the and then war by war? Can you give me that book, chapter, and verse?
By war.
Yeah, the city being cut off by war.
You want me to give you a New Testament revelation of what happened in Daniel? I'm not understanding the question.
Yeah, is there a New Testament prophecy that states the city was going to be cut off by a war? If so, can you give me the book, chapter, and verse?
No, the only thing I could think of is Matthew 24. So let me go there right quick. Let me know my time. So it's the Olivet discourse, which is Matthew, Mark, and Luke. But I'm gonna go to Matthew 24, since y'all say that's fulfilled. For it's 1:7. For as the light comes out of the east and shine unto the west, so also shall the coming of man, the Son of Man be. For whatsoever the carcasses is, there will the equals be gathered also. Carcasses, because it's a lot of dead bodies. In 7 AD, it was a lot of dead bodies. But this is also talking about the very last time. But go ahead.
Okay, so Daniel 9:26, the end of the war. The city being cut off with a flood. Did you just admit that was 70 AD?
Huh?
The
Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 AD. History tells us that.
Okay. My bad, you keep going.
I don't know what's going on, but
all right, Daniel 9:27. And on the temple shall be the abomination of desolation. Could you tell me where that prophecy is in the New Testament?
Oh yeah, it spoke about in 24. Like I said, the Olivet discourse, but also in Revelations.
Okay, so was the abomination of desolation placed upon the temple? Did that occur in 70 AD or around 70 AD?
No.
Okay, so when I read earlier in Vespasian, when he said the abomination of desolation proclaimed by the prophet stood in the very temple of God, just as Josephus recorded, was Eusebius wrong?
Are you talking about Antiochus? You talking about the Greeks? You're not talking about the Romans, because Jesus was here and the Romans killed Jesus. So it's the Romans dynasty at that time.
Okay, so was Eusebius wrong when he said the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel stood in the temple?
I don't even know who Eusebius is, so no, he was right.
Okay, so he was right. So the abomination
on your behalf, he's right. On my behalf, he's a D liar, AM liar.
Okay, so And the temple should, and at the end of the time, there should be put an end to desolation. So Daniel 9:27, if you agree that the abomination of desolation stood in around 70 AD, then by default, Daniel 9:26 and 27 occurred in 70 AD.
I did not agree.
Okay, well, I don't understand your answer.
Stop lying,
Okay.
please, false prophet. Finish. Stop lying, please, false prophet. Don't prophesy. I said.
Okay, come on, you guys. Let's keep it to the information. Let's keep it to the information.
You got to watch how he's talking. He's saying I said something. That's a lie. That's bearing false witness.
Well,
right
just
here.
Correct him.
You bear witness to it. That's
just correct him.
Stop lying on me.
Right, but we could.
Is that beyond the rules? Because I believe I can tell the man to stop lying on me.
No, yeah, but I'm saying like but I mean, just ask him. He probably if he did it, he probably would
He's an intelligent man. He know what he's doing.
All right, let's just keep it.
Get me mad that I'm gonna transgress and y'all gonna kick me off the show and he win by default and stuff. So he's doing little hood politics. That's all.
Well, don't let it work you up, brother. Just let's just keep it to the information because you got a lot of good information, man. Nobody can hear it if we just arguing with each other.
Good. I'm good.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go back out.
Stuff. You always speaking on my behalf, and I do a lot. But when he do it, I strike back. So if you stop it from the jump, it won't be no strike back.
Okay, I'll try to watch out for it. All right. So I'm gonna remove myself.
Hey, brother, was my time paused?
Yeah. So you got 9 minutes. That was about a minute. So you got 9 minutes. Okay. So So go ahead with your question, and then go ahead and answer.
Okay,
brother
yes,
Carl.
Yes, sir. Okay. So now this historical references. When I'm looking at Josephus' War of the Jews, book 6, chapter 2, verse section 1, it says, and now Titus gave orders to his soldiers that were to dig up the foundations of Antonia. The 17th day of Panama's Tammuz, the sacrifice called the daily sacrifice had failed and had not been offered to God for want of men to offer it, and the people were grievously troubled at it. So is Josephus saying during the time that Titus was general, the daily sacrifice stopped?
I don't know what you said because you put it in a funny way. You read a big chapter and then asked me something about the chapter afterward.
Okay, I'll read it again. On the 17th day of Panama's Tammuz, the sacrifice called the daily sacrifice had failed. Did Josephus state that the daily sacrifice had failed at the time of Tammuz?
I don't know what Josephus studied. Josephus, I don't give him no prevalence of the Bible.
Okay. All right. So, all right. So now, Daniel 9:25. For the building of Jerusalem until Christ the Prince, there shall be 7 weeks, and 62 weeks. So the 7 weeks right there, and the word weeks right there is 7. 7 sevens. Is that a jubilee?
I don't know. You asked me something I don't know nothing about. This sound like you making up some stuff.
Okay.
What does Jubilee have to do with the 70 weeks of Daniel? Nothing on my behalf, so I don't know why it's even in the conversation. Or you asked me about something off topic.
Okay. Let's see here. When I go to Matthew 24, verse number 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, then the end shall come. Is this the same end that happens in Daniel?
There's only one ending when Jesus Christ come back on the earth and he's not here. So if you can get him here, The end has came. I agree with you. But if you ain't got Jesus here, if you can't say, hey, Jesus, call him up, then you lying.
Okay, so this is the same end spoken of in Daniel. Okay, then I got you. So in Daniel,
No, I didn't say that, brother. Why you keep look, moderator? The brother's lying on me again. Well, you said this and you said that. He's lying on me again, blatantly lying.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't really catch that. Let's just re-ask the question one more time, and let's just
Just
ask
tell
the
him to
question.
quit saying I said something because I ain't said nothing. I'm barely like yes and no. Why would
Okay.
he say that I said something?
All right. Please don't tell him that he said something.
hey, Paul, can you pause my time, Mr. Vinny?
Yeah, it's paused. It's paused.
Okay.
Uh,
I asked the brother, was this the same end? He said, I agree with you that it is the same end. And then I said,
And
okay,
it's only one end, and if you get Christ back then, so you saying I agree with you, and then you just gonna tell the people I agree with you? You just gonna make up a lot of that quick. I did some false
okay.
asking questions.
Let's just move on. Let's just move on with the question.
okay,
Let's not get caught up on this one.
okay. So is
All
the
right.
I got you, brother. So is the end in Matthew 24:14 the same end in Daniel?
I don't even know what you're talking about, man. It seemed like you're making some very manipulative questions, and then
Okay,
you want to say, let me finish. Then you want to say that I agree with your silly lying questions, like this and that go together. Do you agree? Do you not agree? If you ask me that, I'm gonna say yes or no, and then you will know exactly what I said, because I would say yes, I agree. No, I don't agree. But you don't ask questions like that so you can get a yes or no, a definitive answer to the silly 8 questions you ask.
okay. I don't want to like waste up all my time on something that's not answering my question.
Brother,
So
I got 2 minutes to answer. Let's go.
Daniel 12:9. And he said, go, Daniel, for the words are closed and sealed up to the time of the end. Is the time of the end when the words are closed and sealed up? Is the time of the end the same end spoken of in Matthew 24?
It's not the same. Look, there's an end to a prophecy. There's an end to that prophecy. There's an end to all prophecies. But the time of the end of the world, that prophecy, it hadn't made it, because me and you would not be here debating. Now, if you silly enough and your chat buddies and the thing that came over here to agitate me and try to do what you doing, hey,
All right. Come on. Let's keep it to the information, y'all.
it's 2 minutes. I'm gonna answer the silly questions in a silly manner. If I got 2 minutes, just let me ramble off my silly answer for two minutes. Because
No, I had no problem with the answer, but I'm just saying, like, don't call people silly, and you know, just
but
go
they
ahead
are
and keep it to the
silly. If
information.
it's silly, what I supposed to do? Tell a lie?
well, that's what
You trying to get me to tell a lie, brother? I don't bear false witness.
No, all I'm saying is just answer it.
If it's righteous, I'm gonna call it righteous. The
Okay,
brother
but
silly.
let's just try to keep it to the information. All
Tell them
right,
stop asking silly questions, and then I won't bear witness that they silly.
Okay, Daniel 8, verse number, let's see here, 27. And I, Daniel, fell asleep and was sick. Then I rose and did the king's business, and I wondered at the vision, and there was none to understand it. Did Daniel say no one understood the vision he just received in Daniel 8:27?
I don't know what Daniel said. I went back there. Did you just read that? That's another thing. I don't know what you just read, because once again, you reading verses and then asking me a question after you don't even set up the questions. But go ahead. Like I said, clownish combo question.
All right. Let's see here. Daniel. Bro, I'm done, bro. I'm done, fam. I'm done, bro. You kill the rest of my time, fam. I'm done.
Okay. All right. There we go. That is the cross examination. That's pretty much the debate. So we're just going to go to the closing rounds, and then we'll get some questions from the audience. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, that's Sal's favorite part. So we gonna get to the people after these closing arguments. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys in the back. All right, and then let me. I shouldn't have put Carl back there. Okay, so Carl, we're gonna go ahead with your closing argument. Um, Let me see. Hold on 1 second. Let me get my timer straight here.
And I do have a PowerPoint up.
Oh, you got a PowerPoint to share?
You see it, don't you?
All right, there it is. All right, let's see here. Let me reset this timer here. I think it's 5 minutes. Is it 5 minutes? Let me check. Hold on.
And you just look right there in the back. It's opening round.
That's exactly where I'm going.
Yes, because we did 6 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Two, me stating my thing and 1 rebuttal.
Okay, so 5 minute closings. Okay, brother Carl, I'm gonna remove myself as soon as you start talking. I'm gonna begin your time.
Daily sacrifices and transgression of desolation, right? Seals 6 months. So y'all seen the calculation up here. Let me show it to you again so y'all can deal with that on your own time. Write these things down. Take notes. So the fleeing period, that's a year, that's a year, that's a year, that's half of a year. 12 months, 6 months is half of a year, right? Great tribulations, 3.5 years. 12,060 days, 42 months, time, and the dividing of times, right? So, once again, daily sacrifice, transgression of desolation. Boom, there you go. The seals breaking. We ain't even talked about seals. We ain't even get to Revelations because Revelation is the fulfillment conversation of Daniel. Same angel gave it to John the Revelator. So, Daniel, daily sacrifices and transgressions. He's saying in 70 AD, the Jews destroyed the temple, so they was part of the Roman beast. I don't know what he was saying. But here you go. Great tribulations. Time equal 3.5 years, which is 30 days equals 12,900 days, right? Just make sure you look this stuff over again. Boom, boom. So now we're going to get to this Jubilee stuff and everything again. So 7 seal. That's the day of Abel. Well, the month of Abel. You know, that's the Passover season. That's the beginning of the Lord's calendar because he would think to change time and laws. So 10th month, boom, 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 boom. Just look it all up. So in the month of Abel, we had a trumpet start blowing. And remember, the trumpets blow and the seals break every 6 months, 3.5 years, 42 months. Do the math. So daily sacrifices and transgressions. Great tribulations equal plus 39 days of cleanliness, 1290 days. The fleeing period is 45 days. The total of all of that is 2,300 days. I don't say that enough. So let's keep going. Go down. Okay. Same things. But see, we got to deal with that time period of 3.5 years. I never seen him rebuttal that, but y'all gonna watch the show and we're gonna see if he rebuttal. After this debate, I'm done with it. I don't need to debate this. this lion dude no more. And his lion crowd of preterists, full preterists at that. So here go your breakdown again. The trumpet is blowing. The feast days at that, right? Y'all know about the walls of Jericho and them surrounding the city 7 times, and they blew the horns. Then the walls of Jericho, 7 trumpets being blown. But we ain't even got to Revelations. But I got to close out. So that's my little breakdown of that. I don't even know why I showed y'all that, because most of you dogs is not worthy of this good meat. I swear. But swearing is wrong, so let me stop that. I don't even know what once again, he haven't showed the end of the world as he proclaimed it to be. He agreed with a lot of lying books that says prophecy has been fulfilled. I mean, he never rebutted nothing, so I don't know what he even disagreed for me to make a final argument. He just read some books and didn't even say he was touching any of my topics. So I don't know. Y'all can say I lost this debate, but I learned never not to deal with this petty. That's the
All
end, right?
right. Yeah, that was it. That was the round. Thank you, Brother Carl. Let me put you in the back. Bring back Brother Elvin in. All right, Brother Elvin, welcome back. I see you sharing your screen. I'll put your screen up. Brother Elvin, you there? And once again, I'd like to thank all you guys for coming out with us. And after this last closing round, we do have the question and answers from the audience, which is Sal Showtime's favorite part. We'll see. Let's take a little wager to see if he's gonna pop in tonight. We'll see what happens. But anyway, yeah. So the Brother Elvin, go on ahead with your closing round. You got 5 minutes. I'll As soon as you start, then I'll start your time.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. 1 second, okay? Give me 1 second. 1 second.
Okay. Yeah. You pulling your stuff up.
I don't want to give out any wrong information, so give me 1
Okay.
second.
Let me remove it. Just go ahead and share it when you're ready.
Okay, I got it. I'm just gonna go off the top. I'm ready.
Okay. Sounds good. So I won't share it, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. You don't got to share.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. I'm out of here. As soon as you start talking, your time will start.
All right, let me give some quick references real fast for you guys to see what's going on, because I seen my brother had some calculations, and I don't know how he came up with the calculations, but at the end of Daniel 12, you got a day of 1,335 days, 1,290 days, and it was talking about 1,260 days. So just for the audience real fast, I'm going to try to put y'all up on game. You can go to Ken Johnson's YouTube, and he actually shows you that the 1,335 days was actually an idiom. Daniel was using an idiom for a feast day. He is on his website. He actually broke it down using the Enoch calendar. From Passover to Pentecost was 1,335 days. So Daniel was saying wait to Pentecost, and then 1,290 days, which is 45 before 1,335, and guess what's around 45 days before Pentecost? Well, you had your Passover, and guess what? I mean, this is how it's set up in the book of dealing with Moses before he did the 50. So you got to look that up for yourself. But then before that, before the 1,290 days, it says something about the 1,260 days. And guess what's 30 days before Passover? Purim, which was a future feast. So it was actually telling about the future feast of Purim. That's the 1,260 days. Then it was talking about the Passover, which was the 1,290 days. Then it was talking about Pentecost, which is the 1,335 days. These are all idioms. These numbers represent feast days. That's all it is. Once you go to Daniel's 70 weeks, he'll tell you the 7 things that are determined before the end of all. Those 7 things are a reflection of the 7 feast days that Israel was partaking in. And that's the thing. People don't understand that Daniel, smart, knew Torah, knew all this stuff. Daniel speaking in feast days literature, linguistics, idioms. He's speaking feast days. And you'll notice that people are trying to make this actually be literal days. And this is where they mess up at. They try to make Jews be Americans. Jews are Jews. Americans are Americans. Americans don't think like Jews. Jews don't think like Americans. Daniel is using feast days literature and language, and only the Spirit will teach people this stuff. So that's something that you can look up. I will spend my last 2 minutes showing that. All right, once you debate a person, and once the person say, show me in history, and you show them in history, and then they disagree with the history you show them, then by default, they don't care. It's a debate where no one cares about the information, but I care. I present it, I show, and I will present and show every, okay, I got 2 minutes. I will present and show every debate that I'm in. That's why I don't like saying things without a presentation. I read it. The question was the 70 weeks of Daniel fulfilled? I prove that the 70 weeks of Daniel dealt with 10 jubilees, just like Jeremiah dealt with 10 jubilees. 10 jubilees Jeremiah, 10 jubilees Daniel. That was the point. And then I show from the Dead Sea Scroll community, second source, second witness, that they was expecting Melchizedek to come in the beginning of the 10th Jubilee, and the Day of Atonement to happen toward the end of the 10th Jubilee. That's the 70th week of Daniel. And Christ stated that these things was going to happen his generation. He told the Pharisees and scribes that they were going to have to atone for all the blood. He go in Luke 4, he goes inside of the synagogue and proclaim liberty, proclaim the Jubilee. The brother said, I don't even know why you're bringing up Jubilee. That's the point. You don't know because you don't understand what Daniel is about. Daniel's talking about the Jubilee. That's what Daniel is talking about. The whole point, the reason why they were in the captivity in the first place was a violation of the Jubilee. And now he's telling them that y'all were going to violate the Jubilee again. But the Messiah is going to be on the scene this time, and he's going to actually do the Jubilee the right way. If you have not studied like a Jew, quit trying to debate. Learn. And I'm done.
Okay. Another good debate from both brothers. A lot of information to mull over. You guys probably have some questions. We'll see what happens. We'll see how long the brothers have to hang out tonight with us. So the way this is going to go down is we're going to bring in the audience for some questions. Let me go ahead and share the link here. Boom. Let me get the link. Okay. I'm gonna put it in the chat. If you guys have any questions that come up, let's see here. Okay. All right. There's the link in the chat. You guys have any? If you guys have any questions, go ahead and hit that link. Come on to the panel. Let me bring both the brothers back in. The way that this is going to work is you guys are going to be able to ask the brothers questions. Once you do ask the questions, let's just keep them 2 questions. Okay. So you're going to get your question, allow either Brother Carl or Brother Elvin the time to answer your questions fully. And then if you have a follow-up question, just for clarity, then we might give you another one. We'll just see how the time rolls around, and then what the also the brothers' times is looking like. But yeah, just keep it to the questions. The debate was already going on, and the debate already happened. So so you guys just allow them to answer the questions. If anybody has the any questions, come on up. Let's go. And then also let's not ask any leading questions or any assuming questions. If you don't know and you really want to search for what the brothers believe in, just ask them. Allow them to answer for themselves. Don't tell them what they believe or anything like that. Um, but yeah, you anybody wants to come up, ask questions, come on up. Anybody?
No one's
Okay.
coming.
Let me go ahead and kick off one question. I'm gonna ask one question for myself. Brother Elvin, I'll start with you since Brother Carl been going first all night. Brother Elvin, and I'm gonna ask you the same question too, Brother Carl. But Brother Elvin, how long have you been studying this prophecy of Daniel? And then also my second part is, has your position changed? If so, why?
Yes, sir. I've been studying the all prophecy. I'm a prophecy buff, so I love prophecies. I've been studying prophecies, I say about 5 years per se, but dealing with this the way that I'm looking at Daniel right now, uh, I've been going strong. I ain't gonna lie, about 6 months, and my view has changed from the futurist view to more of the carnal view, dealing with full predators. Not saying that they was carnal, but I was looking at the carnal aspect of it. I was trying to find the days, this day, that day. I just hit line up with history. Is it 457 BC and all that stuff? But eventually, I start looking at the Dead Sea Scrolls and listening to people who studied the Dead Sea Scrolls, and then the light bulb started catching on. And then, as you can see right here, my brother, I have a Dead Sea Scrolls right here in front of me, and I got it all marked up. And I see how the Jews was actually thinking of these things. And then you can go with Josephus also, because I got it right here in front of me, how the Jews thought of these things. So yes, my view did change, and I understood finally that I have to look at these things like a Jew, not like an American. And when I started looking at it like Jews and how they spoke and how they talked and how the Holy Spirit dealt with them, then I said, okay, let's see if this makes sense. And when it made sense, it made sense. So I've been going strong with this about 6 months, this new view. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, cool. Very interesting. Thank you, brother. And brother Carl, you as well. I know you've been in the game for a while. You was one of the first one of the originals for debate talk for you when they was all on Blog Talk Radio. So you're definitely an elder in this on this platform, and also in the debate world, dealing with information between different belief systems. Brother, so yeah, so how about you? How long have you been studying this prophecy of Daniel? Um, and then has your position ever changed? If so, why? You on mute, brother Carl? You on mute?
I started dealing with the Bible in 96, 4 years before 2000, when the Hebrew Israelite, like that brother down there, Hebrew Israelite talking about he following Hebrew Israelites. What a joke. But I've been studying since 96. I started with a book from the Israel of God that dealt with end time prophecy. Before I even went to the Israel of God, my nephew father had the book, and I thought it was interesting. And then I come to find my way to the Israel of God, and it was like, oh, this place is cool. And they was teaching fundamentals, and they weren't calling themselves Hebrew Israelites back then. But I find myself always at war with a Hebrew Israelite or a lying Roman Christian, whether they call themselves preterist, Baptist, Episcopalian, Seventh-day Adventist. DP.
Okay, cool. Okay, sounds good. We do have brother DPB, our sister. I don't know yet. Sorry if I disrespected you. That
Man,
wasn't my intention. I'm gonna bring you on in, DPB. Please stick it to only questions. The debate has already happened. We're not trying to start up another debate, but just ask any question, whether it be to brother Elvin Israel, to brother Israel Doctrine, or to both of them, and then let them answer. If you have a follow up, then I'll let you go ahead with a follow up, and then go ahead, brother or sister.
Hey, bro, how you doing? So I
All
have
right.
a question for both of these gentlemen. Can they both explain, since the debate is on 70 weeks, can from Israel Doctrine's perspective explain where are we in the timeline of the 70 weeks in 2022, and then can Elvin explain, since he's pushing the fulfilled, what is the current circumstance, after the fulfillment in 2022?
okay, I'm saying we waiting on the temple to be built. We know the temple is got plans to be built. They looking for the red heifer so they can clean the temple and start committing sacrifices so they can stop the daily sacrifice. And then the time frame that was on my PowerPoint, that's what time we in. We're waiting on the cleansing of the temple, the building of the temple. Once we see that, we can start counting it down, because no one can count 2,300 days of any prophecy being fulfilled and showing it through a historical lens, because they didn't see it, they couldn't write it. That answers you.
Okay, brother Elvin. Sorry, you might have to repeat it because I accidentally kicked them. I was trying to get rid of your share screen. Brother DPB, can you ask brother Elvin?
Yeah, okay. So from Elvin's perspective, where do we stand now, at the fulfillment of the 70 weeks?
Okay, then. Can
And
you?
give me a little context to your answer.
Okay, I got you. Let's see here. Let me see if I can share my screen.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and put it up there. I'll share it for you.
Okay, then. Is it showing up?
No, I don't see it.
Okay, my bad.
There we go.
All right, great. All right. So now, since I say all things is fulfilled, where are we at right now? I believe that's the question. Once we go to Luke 17, right? And just a little context, verse 20. And when he was demanded of the Pharisees, when the kingdom of God should come, he answered them and said, the kingdom of God cometh not with observation, neither shall they say, lo here or lo there. For behold, the kingdom of God is within you. All right. So we have a kingdom that's within a person. You go to Revelation 21, because this is going to answer where we are at right now. You go to Revelation 21, and he showed me a pure river of the water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of God and of the Lamb. And in the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, there was a tree of life. So we can agree that this tree of life was inside of the Garden of Eden, right? So now, once we go, we got the kingdom within us. Now, Revelation 22, we have this kingdom being introduced as the Garden of Eden. So, verse 14 to 15, blessed are they that do his commandments, that they might have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. So, once you go and look at how Genesis narrative started off, how Adam started off in the Garden of Eden, where Revelation is taking us at, the Garden of Eden, where Christ said the kingdom is within us. He's taken us to this narrative. And what happened inside of Revelation? Even though they was in the Garden of Eden, they transgressed, right? And life continued on. The same principle occurs. Christ is the new Adam. Now life still continues on, but we are in partaking of this kingdom that's inward spiritually, where the Father in Christ dwells, and people that are wicked are outside of that kingdom. So we are in right now the Garden of Eden narrative, where a person can choose life or choose death, choose Christ or choose the world. Regardless, life still goes on. The only difference is a person outside of Christ, outside of understanding, outside of fulfillment, outside of life, they would not partake of the same spiritual wisdom that people that's inside. So we're living in the same world with two different point of views, two different ways, two different means, two different modes of life. That's where it's at. That's where we're at right now. Hopefully that answered the question.
Okay. Thank you, brother. And then brother DPB, do you have a follow-up for both the brothers?
Yeah, I got it. That was good from both of them to break down. Okay, so I'll just direct it again to Israel doctrine. Why? What is it about the full preterist doctrine that would be like? What prophecy is impossible for the full preterist to answer? That would be the question for Israel doctrine. And then my follow up for Elvin is what is what is what is impossible for Carl's position, being a partial preterist, since he's waiting for certain events to occur. What is he missing based on that understanding?
Now I need to ask the moderator a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Carl.
Is there a time period? Because
I mean, it is, but there's nobody here. There's nobody here, so I'm not really tripping on the time right now.
let me speak to DPB right quick. What was the question again, so I can answer the question? Because
Yeah, so I'm saying from the full preterist standpoint, what is it about their paradigm that is impossible, that you find impossible for them to answer, since they claiming, what is the one solid thing that they cannot answer?
well, First Thessalonians 4, dealing with the resurrection of the people. See, he has a resurrection ministry and these tenets and all of that, but ain't nobody resurrected. Where's all the saints at that's been resurrected? Why they ain't in the kingdom? If everything been fulfilled and they've been resurrected, they should be in the kingdom. Because I read in Daniel 8 where the kingdom should be given to them, not them going around saying, "Hey, let's start this kingdom up," or as Zadok used to say in them in MPs and stuff, that all this stuff is fulfilled and we building the mountain now. It's like, how you building the mountain? You ain't the Messiah. So if you can't resurrect the people, all the prophecy ain't fulfilled, because resurrection is a part of prophecy. Yes or no? It's Daniel 12 that tells you that resurrection is a part of that prophecy.
Okay, and what was your question for brother Elvin?
What is it about like Carl's position that he's not understanding? Like, what is the most critical point that he's not understanding about prophecy being fulfilled?
I do. My screen's still sharing, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Look at this is 2 Corinthians 3. I'm gonna start at 13. And not as Moses, which put a veil over his face, that the children of Israel could not steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished, but their minds were blinded. For until this day remaineth the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament, which veil is done away in Christ. But even until this day, when Moses is read, the veil is upon their heart. So we clearly have Paul saying that there's something spiritual, because we know the heart means the mind, and the veil is something that covers. So it's something spiritual that got these individuals blinded in his days. And it's done away with in Christ. But the problem is when people put on Christ, they don't understand. Their understanding of put it on Christ is not the biblical understanding of put it on Christ. Like, for instance, what my brother said about the resurrection, right? The resurrection motif started in Torah. It started in Moses. So anyone talking about the resurrection, anyone talking about the fulfillment of everything in the Bible started in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Moses clearly tells us these things are going to happen in the last days. With Genesis 49 and 10. That's when the last days was brought up by Jacob. Moses was the one who told us when the last days was going to be. He brought it up in Genesis 49. Deuteronomy 32. He brings up the last days again. These things are going to befall you in the last days. He brings up, I present to you life and death. He brings up Adam. He was in the dust of the earth. He got the breath of life. Then he became a living being. All of these things, that's resurrection. You got the scattering and gathering. You got all of these elements spoken of in Torah first, before the prophets got it, before the New Testament authors got it. But Paul clearly told us when Moses is read, a veil goes upon people's heart immediately, their hearts immediately. And that's what my brother is missing. He has not removed the veil yet. This is why he's trying to make a scientific explanation of scriptures.
Brother, please don't say I did something and lie on me. I take that stuff very personal. And you stay lying on me and calling me names.
Okay,
This stuff very personally.
And this is what I'm talking about.
Hold on 1 second, you guys. Come on, we gotta let's just keep it to the information. Please, brother Elvin, don't say what he said. You know, if you want to question him, just ask him. Brother Carl. Okay, so we'll bring you guys back in. Let's just keep it to the information, guys, please.
Brother Vinny, he literally asked me what Carl was missing. So I'm explaining what Carl is missing.
I know, but please don't suggest it. Just if you want to ask him, just ask him. Just don't suggest it.
How can I answer the question effectively? Okay, let me just say it like this then.
All right.
Everybody, unless they put on Christ, it's a veil that comes over their hearts when they're reading the scripture. And this is why their doctrine is different from what's found in scripture. So if you hear anything not said by the New Testament authors who had the Holy Spirit and who was interpreting the scripture for us, if you see anything not said by them, they knew the Torah, they had the Old Testament, they had the prophets, they knew these things too. See, did they bring up Ezekiel 40 something? No, they didn't bring up Ezekiel 40 nothing. Did they bring up Isaiah 14 and 2 what people misuse? No, they don't bring up none of this stuff. The New Testament authors, when they got the Holy Spirit, that veil is released. So that will be my explanation. People who have veils over their hearts, they're never going to understand the Bible, whether it's fulfillment or anything.
Now, let me just show resurrection. 1 Corinthians, which is not Old Testament. See, I'm from Genesis to Revelation, so I don't have to sit in the Old Testament. We was dealing with Daniel, which is in the Old Testament. 1 Corinthians 15 and 50. Now, I say, brother, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God. Neither do corruption inherit incorruption. So the kingdom might be in you, but you still can't inherit it. because flesh and blood can't inherit it. That's what the Bible says, unless Paul lying here. But let's read 51. Behold, I show you a mystery. We should not all sleep in the dust of the ground, but we shall all be changed. Where's the spirituality in that? We're not going to sleep in the dust of the ground, but we all should be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. See, he never speaks of trumpets, but he said everything is fulfilled. If trumpets got to blow, when did they blow? But I just asked that so y'all can think out there in the crowd, because if you don't show me no trumpets, how you going to show me the end? You never showed me through the trumpet period. Trumpet shall sound and the dead shall rise incorruptible. I just put a body in the ground on the Sabbath day. But I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay. So nobody else is coming up. The brother DPB said he had one more question. So I guess after this question, if nobody else comes up, I guess we'll go ahead and close it out for the night. Brother DPB, go ahead, brother.
Okay, so when Israel Doctrine was giving your breakdown, you mentioned something about the temple today. So can you give us like chapter and verse on the temple they supposed to build?
Daniel 8 and 11.
And real quick, Israel, and then Elvin, if it's true, whatever he says, can you confirm it or debunk it?
Yes.
He ain't done it all night, but Daniel 8 and 11. Yea, he magnified himself even unto the Prince of Hosts. Who was the Prince of Hosts? Jesus himself. And by him the daily sacrifices was taken away. And the place of his sanctuary, not Jesus' sanctuary, not the Father's sanctuary, but the very man's sanctuary, has to be cast down. And the host was given unto him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression, and it was cast down, and the truth to the ground, and it practiced, and whatever that other word, I can't sound it out, my bad. So it's his temple that has to be destroyed. And it's only been 2 temples. So where's his temple that has to be destroyed? You can't read that. You can't debunk that.
I'm sorry, were you saying it's the 3rd temple that'll be built?
It has to be a temple to be destroyed. It's only been 2 temples up. So it has to be a 3rd temple if one's going to be destroyed, correct?
I'll let Elvin explain that.
Try, go ahead.
Okay. In Daniel 8, verse number 12. Let's see here. No, 11. Yea, he magnified himself to the Prince of the host, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. That's verse 11. When you go to verse number 15, hold on, let me see here. And when he said, "I'll make note of these the last days." Let's see here. Call, I was afraid. Hold on. All right, right. Verse 19. And he said, "Behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation. For at the time appointed, the end shall be." So Daniel sees a vision in 8 through 14. And then we have verse 15. And it came to pass when even I, Daniel, had seen the vision. So that's the vision before up there. And sought for meaning. Then behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man. Verse 17, so he came near when I stood, and when he came, I was afraid and fell on my face, and he said unto me, "Understand, O son of man, for at the time of the end shall be the vision." Verse number 19, and he said, "Behold, I will make thee know what should be in the last end of the indignation." So in other words, Daniel 8, 1 through 14 is the vision. Now he's going to explain to Daniel the vision. So let's see the explanation. Verse number 20. The realm which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia. Understand, the kingdom was destroyed by the Babylonians. So this is after the Babylonian destruction of Jerusalem. So he's introducing the Medes and the Persians. Verse 21. And the rough goat is the king of Greece. So now he's introducing the Grecians. And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. And now that was being broken, whereas four stood up for it, four kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. So we find out that four kingdoms right there that came from this one is the same four-headed leopard beast in Daniel 7. This is the Grecian Empire. Verse 23, and in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. And by his power he shall be mighty, and by his own power he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. And he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. So notice the explanation of the prophecy took us to the Grecians up until the prince of princes being stand up against. And we should know that this is the Messiah, which is Daniel chapter 9. So by default, that temple has to be in the time period of either the Grecians or this entity standing up against the Prince of Princes, which happened at the 70 weeks of Daniel, which Daniel, and I'm almost done, which Daniel stated in Daniel chapter 9. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city. And it says in verse 26, the people of the prince shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. The sanctuary was already destroyed when Daniel got this vision. So how do we skip past the sanctuary of Zerubbabel, which Herod upgraded? How do we bypass that temple? And Daniel 8 told us that this temple was going to be around this time period. This was going to be around the time period of the Grecians, and this horn, or this person making war with the Prince of Prince, which is Daniel 9:26. How do we skip that temple in Rome under the Roman Empire and make it be another temple in the future that nobody in the New Testament brought up one time?
Second Thessalonians brought it up. Number 1, it says, and the place of his sanctuary. It didn't say Christ's sanctuary. It didn't say God. It didn't say Solomon. And we know they didn't rebuild it in the times of the Greeks, like you said, the four-headed monster, but it's not the fourth beast. It's just one monster with 4 heads. You know who that is in prophecy, don't you? The general captain of it ain't fourth beast though, because it got 4 heads. Brother, I think you totally misunderstanding Bible prophecy. That's why I feel like it's a shame to even have this debate. I'm gonna do a show on this though, and I'm gonna teach you.
Vinny, Mr. Vinny, that's the second time he done rebutted me. So now, can I rebuttal him back?
Okay, and then this is you're gonna have the final word, brother Elvin.
This is the second time he done rebutted me. Okay,
you got the final word, bro.
Okay, bet then. In Daniel 7, let's look at this 4-headed beast. Daniel 7:6. And after this I beheld, and lo, like a leopard, which had upon the back of its 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. This is the third beast. This ain't even the fourth beast. So the third beast had the four kingdoms, the four heads. So now in Daniel 7, after this, the fourth beast is introduced, and we know the fourth beast is Rome. And within this fourth beast, look what happens. The 10 horn is introduced, verse 8. And I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them a little horn. So that horn is introduced under the fourth beast, and the fourth beast is Rome. So whatever this little horn did, it had to do under the fourth beast. And in the fourth beast of Daniel 7, the entire New Testament, what we call New Testament, was written under the fourth beast. The entire New Testament, from Matthew all the way into Revelation, it was written under the fourth beast. So when they start talking about the temple in the book of from Matthew to Revelation, they're talking about a temple that lived that existed under the fourth beast. So when Daniel 8 is talking about this horn that came in during this time period of Rome, and he's destroying a temple, which is the same prophecy that Christ gave. The temple is going to be destroyed this generation. No one in the New Testament talked about a third temple. This is when we impose our ideology because we don't want fulfillment. We hate fulfillment. We don't want the things to be fulfilled. So we will go out our way and say something that no one in the Bible stated. No one in the Bible talked about a third temple. Nobody talked about a third temple. Even Ezekiel, and I'm about done. And when Ezekiel was talking about this temple in Ezekiel 40-48, they try to make that be a third temple. Meanwhile, Ezekiel's at the time period where the first temple was destroyed. He was in the Babylonian captivity. And they want us to believe that he's talking about a temple after Rome while he's in the Babylonian captivity. Now, what sense does that make? But that's another story for another day. We can clearly see by biblical prophecy, anything dealing with the fourth beast, and I'll say then I'll be done, anything dealing with the fourth beast in the book of Daniel is speaking of the time period when the New Testament was being written. That's the time period of the fourth beast of Daniel. Now I'm done.
All right, all right. Thank you both to you brothers. Both presented some good information for us all to go look over and go vet. You know, it's always good to study, hear different perspectives, and then look at it from different angles. Um, I appreciate both of you brothers, and I'm pretty sure I'm speaking on behalf of Sal. Sal appreciates both you brothers as well. Everybody out there, you see all the information is going to be in the description box. All the brother Elvin's information is in the description box. The brother Israel Doctrine is in the description box, and then also the brother uh, Petty Tendergrass. He's also in the description box, you know, because he's the one that did the flyers. Also, I understand Carl also does flyers himself, so you guys go check him out. He's also all of that's in the description box. Yeah, go ahead, Carl.
Can you read Second Thessalonians for me right quick?
Second Thessalonians.
Yes, I got a verse right here.
Yeah, Second Thessalonians what? Huh?
4.
4.
Tell me what that say in this, what it's talking about in there, if you know anything about it. But if you could read it, please.
Okay, hang on one second. Second Thessalonians 4.
2. Second Thessalonians 2 and 4.
Oh, 2 and 4. Okay. See here.
Who oppose it?
Hold on one second. I'll put the wrong thing in there. Okay, so Second Thessalonians 2 and 4. What version? KJV?
It don't matter. Just read. Yeah, I deal only with KJV.
Okay, so it says, "Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God."
So what's this talking about? The temple of God?
Sound like it, yeah.
And he's sitting in it saying he is God. So would that not be his temple? If he say he's God and he's sitting in that temple. So Daniel 8 and 11, it says what? His sanctuary, that temple will be his, right?
Yeah, that's definitely something to think about.
See of a temple, the third temple, because 7 AD, that temple was destroyed. And when Solomon built his, it was destroyed. So Judah went down. How you gonna sit in the temple if it's no temple?
That's a good question. That's something that we all got to think about. We're gonna have to hit the lab.
I'm one
check
hell
the
of a
information.
Brother Vinny. Brother Vinny.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brother Elvin.
We gotta stop that. The temple, no, bro. We gotta stop that, bro. That temple that he was talking about, he said it's the temple of God. It's God's temple, and he's calling it his temple.
Brother, do you want me to read it again? Listen,
no.
it said,
I got
opposes himself
I got it.
above all that is called God or that is worshipped. So he as God, as God sit in the temple of God. So if he's God and he's sitting in the temple and he's saying he's God, who temple you think it is? It's the God of Israel, or he calling himself God and he's sitting in it. So it's his temple.
Hey, Carl, that's a good question, Brother Elvin. That's something for us to ponder over. But I'm gonna go ahead and close this thing out. You brothers have been great. I'm putting you guys in the back. But you guys have been great, man. I like to give all thanks to the Most High, man. There was some good information being brought out. I know it got a little bit testy, but thank all you guys out there for keeping it respectful. You know, I know it was a little bit testy, but thank you for joining us, everybody. I'm gonna close it on out with a song here from the Rock Eye Bars called "11." It's one of my favorite songs, and you know, it just dealing with the 11 in the heart. You know, and I think it's a very powerful song. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. But anyway, you may the Most High bless and keep you guys throughout your endeavors, and also to keep you throughout this the end of this Sunday night. Anyway, you guys, until the next time, we're gonna go ahead and close this out. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me get it together here. I'm not together. Okay. There we go. Okay, you brothers and sisters, have a good night. Peace.
It's midnight. End times.
Zai, Mike, where y'all at?
We right here.
Come in, y'all. Close the door.
Yes.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
So, what is the greatest commandment?
To love the Most High and your neighbor as yourself.
Love your brethren. Remove that leaven. We was made for this. You a chosen vessel. And we gotta stay solid. Never break, never fold under pressure. And I had to examine myself, cause I can do better. You can do better. I gotta keep it unleavened. I won't let up, I can't settle. I gotta do better. My body's a temple. We need the spirit. I want it pressed down, shaking together. You got a bag, that's not impressive. Look at that dollar and see your oppressor. We chasing treasures. I'm talking talents and shekels. He taught us to number our days. Now we on schedule. Keeping the feast. I cannot stay out this word. This is that manna. It's like a mirror. I feel convicted. I feel like he's speaking to me. Purge out the leaven. It's deeper than yeast. It ain't no hate in my heart. I want to see you increase. No hidden agenda. I pray you forgive if I ever offended. I show love to my brothers and sisters, cause there's so many coming against us. Back against the wall, I know that feeling. Our people need healing, and love is the answer. Self-examination. Are you truly repentant? If you don't, love your brethren. Remove that leaven. We was made for this. You a chosen vessel. And we gotta stay solid. Never break, never fold under pressure. And I had to examine myself, cause I can do better. Look,
I feel like this one is for me. I had to look in the mirror. Can we stay unleavened even after the feast? Cause it ain't all about what you eat. Man shouldn't live solely by bread. Don't let that go over your head. He hears every word that we speak. If it ain't fruitful, I'ma hold my peace. The spirit is willing, and we gotta show mercy, forgiveness. If we don't give it, how we gon' get it? And it's bigger than tassels and fringes. It's the spirit, unleaven your soul and your heart. Your inner man is who you really are. Love your brethren, remove that leaven. We was made for this. You a chosen vessel, and we gotta stay solid. Never break, never fold under pressure. And I had to examine myself, cause I can do better. Love your brethren, don't be jealous, cause you special, chosen vessel. Rule life, never break, never fold under pressure. Let's get it. We gotta go harder, family. We can do better. Yeah. If you don't love the brother that's with you, how you gon' love the one that's invisible? Everybody say they in the truth. Your heart is the proof. I hear what you saying, I watch what you do. Hey, ain't gon' get mad, I'ma pray for you. Reach out to your ark, I'm available. 70 times 7, love your brethren. We was made for this, chosen vessel.